How it starts is you meet someone and you start chatting on an online dating platform. So Bumble, Tinder, Hinge. I met this guy on Hinge. Most of the men are usually Asian and they present themselves as pretty wealthy. Mine was the CEO and owner of a wine company who did import and exports. And they go so far as to buy comprehensive social media profiles. These people have elaborate as scripts. They have A/B testing that went into this. They usually target you and then they identify the type of personality you have. There's so much gaslighting and psychology that goes into it. For me, I fell for, being gaslit into it, worrying about them losing so much money. At the end of the day, don't trust anyone. But I want to believe in love,
That was the buttering up period. She still wants to believe in love, but she did also detail, and this is a significant video. She went through all the details, but this is how they got her to invest a bunch of money. Watch.
The way that they get you in is that they show how successful it can be. So they say, what if you just put in some play money, $100, $500, $1,000. It's like nothing because these people appear to be really wealthy. Today, the trends are good, let's invest. So they're telling you to invest X amount of money, you'll see your profits rise. And that's how they build more trust. That's how they appeal to, I did get greedy, because it seemed like this was legit. You need to actually invest the amount that you put in before you can withdraw, which for me, I was like, okay, fine, I guess that makes sense. So I tell this guy, I'm like, hey, can we make an investment plan so that I can get this money out? And then he all of a sudden goes, but the trends are bad now. And he's gonna watch the trends, make a plan for when they're good again. The numbers, literally would never set me up so that I could invest enough to get my balance met so that I could withdraw. I messaged the customer service agent about how they said that I could withdraw after I put in this money. And then they were like, I talked to my company and my managers and this is what we can do. We have this VIP tier. So if you put in this amount, you'll be able to withdraw one time without having to meet that transaction. And yeah, that's basically what happened. That's how they got me to invest so much money. And that was the script that they used for me.
That was the script. The details of this went so far. Every time, first off, the play money that she had to start with was $500,000, yeah. And then as that builds, everything else in order to get some kind of a comeback or some kind of return on your investment, you had to add more before you got it. But once you added more, you had to add more, and then you had to add more. Now this is through her romantic partner, which she assumed was a real person. So that's where the trust came from. And also it had nothing to do with this at first. So more details really fast, Rick, before we let you get some thoughts here. The pig butchering, as they call it, or Shah Zupan, that scam is highly sophisticated form of romance and cryptocurrency investments. Scammers, mainly working for Chinese organized crime gangs, pose as attractive professionals or entrepreneurs looking for love. The scammers target single women and men, LGBTQ+, and those over 50 years old, as well as new immigrants as their potential victims. And also victims in many cases emptied out their bank accounts, spent their inheritances and life savings, taken out loans and mortgages, sold their houses and cars to invest in fake crypto platforms. And these victims also realized they were scammed only after being blocked from withdrawing the thousands or millions of dollars that they invested, Rick.
Yeah, so look, this sucks, obviously. But I wanna be very clear to everyone watching this. It is so easy to sit back and become an armchair expert and say, how could you do this? How could you fall for it? They are playing into the intricacies that drive someone's, let's say, desires and play into their emotions and then take advantage of that. I'm weirdly just thankful that, I'm in my 30s now. I wasn't really active with that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. A lot of relationships I had happened organically. And look, I'm also someone that has not put any hours into understanding crypto. I'm being very clear about that. But I could see with the younger generation who happens to be obsessed with this sort of stuff, how they would get drawn in when you play into the fact of, and I'm just generalizing here, I'm not saying every person is like this who's single, but some people are lonely. A lot of people have that desire to meet someone, and then this is their in. So I understand how someone could fall for it. There just needs to be, and I think the UK is proposing a law about this, but there just needs to be more to the intricacy of limiting this happening. And by the way, real quick, not that it's a free plug, but if you watch like the Tinder Swindler on Netflix, you will see that this is like the absolute blueprint for scamming people, which is, oh, I need help, or oh, you did really well, you should do more. It's sort of like, it's just a humongous scam, and I feel bad for anyone who's been preyed on.
I mean, it's started in 2020. People were lonely, lockdowns were happening, all that. So it's very tailored and it's very specific.